Imagine your neighbor for a moment. He drives a brand new Mercedes that smells like expensive leather and fresh success. He wears watches that cost more than a college tuition, and his social media is a non-stop gallery of five-star dinners and designer logos. Everyone in the neighborhood assumes he is absolutely crushing it financially. But here is the reality that no one sees behind the closed curtains of 2026. His net worth is less than $40,000. He is drowning in high-interest debt, and he is performing for an audience that does not actually care about him. Now look across the street at the man driving a 20-year-old Toyota Camry with faded paint and 180,000 miles on the odometer. He wears simple jeans from Costco and lives in a modest three-bedroom house that looks exactly like every other house on the block. No one suspects a thing, but his net worth is $3.2 million. He is completely invisible. While the world is busy being impressed by people performing poverty with luxury logos, this man has mastered the art of modesty. He is part of a silent empire of secret millionaires who understand a truth the rest of society has forgotten. Real wealth whispers, while insecurity screams. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on the quiet behaviors and calculated choices that reveal real money without saying a single word. We are going to explore the 7 subtle signs that someone is secretly wealthy. Understanding these signs is not just about spotting millionaires in the wild. It is about recognizing the psychological shifts you need to make if you want to build a foundation of true freedom for yourself. The first sign is often the most visible, yet it is the one that society has trained us to misinterpret completely. Sign number 1 is that they drive old, paid-off cars, but everything else they own is of impeccable quality. Society has brainwashed us to judge financial success by what someone drives. We are told that an expensive car equals success and an old car equals struggling. In the world of the secretly wealthy, this logic is completely reversed. They understand that a car is a depreciating asset, a machine that loses half its value the moment it leaves the lot. A secret millionaire would much rather have $50,000 compounding in an index fund than $50,000 rotting in a driveway. They drive reliable brands like Toyota, Honda, or Lexus that are 8 to 15 years old. These cars are maintained perfectly because these individuals respect their tools. But here is the critical distinction that most people miss. While the car is ancient by American standards, every other item in their life is selected for quality first. Their watch might be expensive, but it is understated and lacks a giant flashing logo. Their clothes fit perfectly and are made from high-quality fabrics like wool or organic cotton, but you will not see any designer names screaming from the chest. The pattern here is quality everywhere except in the one place where money disappears fastest. They choose investments over impressions. They are comfortable enough with their own identity that they do not care what a stranger at a red light thinks about their transportation. They know the truth of their bank account, and that is the only validation they need. This leads us directly into the second sign, which reveals the mathematical mind of the wealthy. Sign number 2 is that they ask detailed questions about prices, but they always buy exactly what they want. This behavior often confuses the average person. You might see someone at a store asking deep questions about the pricing structure or the cost difference between 2 options. Most observers assume this person is broke because they think if you have to ask the price, you cannot afford it. That is a myth perpetuated by people who are trying to look rich. Actually, wealthy people always ask about prices because that is exactly how they became wealthy and how they stay that way. They are not asking because they lack the funds. They are asking because they are calculating the value proposition. They want to know if an item provides sufficient utility for the cost. They want to know if the construction method justifies the premium. Compare this to someone who is performing wealth. Their ego is so fragile that asking about the cost feels poor to them. So, they buy things blindly to prove they can. They often end up paying a hidden tax of vanity. The secret millionaire negotiates not because they are cheap, but because they refuse to be a victim of a bad deal. When they decide an item is truly worth it, they move immediately. There are no financing questions and no payment plan discussions. The transaction is completed in cash or a single payment because they do not believe in paying interest on lifestyle choices. Their price consciousness is not a sign of poverty, it is a sign of financial discipline. It is the behavior of someone who respects every dollar because they know how hard that dollar worked to be earned. Now, look beyond their possessions and look at their calendar. Sign number 3 is that they have unusual time freedom, but they never brag about it. In 2026, time is the ultimate luxury that money can buy. Pay attention to the person who is consistently available for a walk on a Tuesday afternoon or a coffee on a Wednesday morning. They do not have the stress of checking with a boss or worrying about their paid time off balance. They are just quietly available. This is fundamentally different from someone who is unemployed and anxious. The secretly wealthy person has unlimited time and zero stress signals associated with it. They are traveling during the middle of the week, when flights are cheaper and destinations are empty. They take 3-week trips on random months and never mention vacation limits. Why don't they announce this freedom? Because they do not need your reaction to feel successful. Announcing that you do not have to work often creates awkwardness or invites unwanted requests for money. So they just quietly live their lives. They let people assume they work nights or have a flexible remote job. They do not correct those assumptions because their privacy is more valuable than your admiration. Their availability speaks for itself to those who understand the signal. When you see someone who is consistently calm and consistently available without explanation, you are likely looking at financial independence in its purest form. The 4th sign reveals itself in the environment they build for themselves. Sign number 4 is that everything they own is high quality, but they own very little of it. If you walk into the home of a secret millionaire, you might be struck by how empty it feels. It is not the empty of a college student who cannot afford furniture. It is the intentional minimalism of someone who only keeps what is perfect. Society tells us that wealth equals abundance and big closets stuffed with clothes and garages full of equipment. But the wealthy understand that clutter is a mental tax. They might only have 15 items in their wardrobe, but each piece is tailored and made from the best materials. They might have only 10 tools in their kitchen, but those tools are professional grade and will last 30 years. They actually use every single thing they own. They do not buy things to fill a void or to keep up with a trend. This is the opposite of the performer who accumulates fast fashion and branded items that are worn once and forgotten. The secret millionaire knows that security needs no excess. They maintain what they own with obsessive care. Their shoes are polished, their furniture is immaculate, and their appliances are serviced before they break. They choose quality over quantity every single time. This restraint is a powerful wealth signal. It shows they have the discipline to say no to the millions of distractions that the modern world throws at them. They could buy anything, so they choose to buy almost nothing. This leads us to the most difficult sign to spot, because it is defined by what is missing. Sign number 5 is that they never discuss money, income, or financial wins. There is a complete financial blackout in their conversation. You could know these people for 20 years and have no idea what they make or what they are worth. They deflect money questions with smooth, polite opacity. If you ask how much they make, they will say something like, "Enough to get by," and then immediately change the subject. If you ask about their investments, they will say, "Things are fine," and move on. This is radically different from the rest of the world. Broke people trying to look rich talk about money constantly because they need the external validation. They want you to know about their raise or their bonus because the announcement is the point of the money for them. Even the middle class tends to be transparent about salaries and costs, but the secretly wealthy stay silent to protect their peace. They know that money attracts moochers and creates jealousy. They know that wealth can change the dynamic of a friendship, so they keep it a mystery. They do not need to prove they are winning. They already know they are. This silence is not about being secretive or shady. It is about wisdom. They have learned that discussing money creates more problems than it solves. Their financial opacity is a lifestyle choice that preserves their freedom and their relationships. Sign number 6 is perhaps the most telling psychological indicator. They are completely calm during financial emergencies. Watch how someone reacts when a crisis hits. The car breaks down and needs a $2,500 repair. A broke person spirals into panic and stress, wondering how they will afford the month. A person trying to look rich might get angry and complain about the inconvenience. But the secretly wealthy person just says, "Okay, fix it." There is zero emotional reaction. They handle a $5,000 medical bill or a major home repair like they are ordering a cup of coffee. This is because they have a deep cushion that the world cannot see. They have an emergency fund that is measured in years, not weeks. A $5,000 expense is an inconvenience, not a catastrophe. Their calm reveals the invisible foundation underneath their life. If someone is panicking over $500, they have no cushion. If someone is calm over $5,000, they have deep reserves. This emotional response is the most accurate wealth detector because it cannot be faked. You can lease a car and buy fake designer bags, but you cannot fake the genuine peace of mind that comes from having $1 million in liquid reserves. Finally, we reach the 7th sign, which shows where their heart truly lies. Sign number 7 is that they value experiences over possessions, but they do it quietly. Once money stops being a constraint, the focus naturally shifts from collecting things to collecting memories. But here is the key. They do not perform their experiences for an audience. They might spend a month in Italy or take a private cooking class in France, but you will not see a single photo on social media. They do not need the digital validation of your likes to enjoy their vacation. The experience was for them, not for the performance. They prioritize time with family and personal development over any physical status symbol. They take classes to learn new languages or skills just for the sake of learning. This is the ultimate evolution of wealth. When you are no longer trying to impress strangers, you can finally start living for yourself. The secret millionaire is quietly living a life that is rich in meaning, while everyone else is busy collecting junk to post on the internet. Now, let me tie all of these signs together. In 2026, the world is louder than ever. The pressure to perform and to show off and to project an image of success is at an all-time high. But as you have seen, Real wealth moves in the opposite direction. It moves toward old Toyotas and Costco jeans and quiet afternoons. It moves toward quality over quantity and silence over shouting. Most millionaires are unrecognizable because they have realized that security needs no announcement. They are choosing investments over impressions every single day. They are building empires of freedom, while others are building cages of debt. If you want to join their ranks, you have to start by changing what you value. Stop judging success by the car in the driveway or the logo on the shirt. Start looking for the patterns of time, freedom, and emotional calm. Start looking for the people who ask about prices but never mention their income. Building wealth is not about how much you make. It is about how much you keep and how little you need to prove yourself to others. The next time you see that old car or that person who is always available on a Tuesday, do not feel pity for them. They might just be the wealthiest person you have ever met. Real wealth whispers, "It is time we started listening." Take a hard look at your own spending habits and your own need for validation. Are you buying things to impress people you do not even like? Or are you building a foundation that will give you back your time and your peace? The choice is yours. But remember that the most successful people are often the ones you never notice. They are the invisible millionaires, and they are waiting for you to join them in the quiet life of true abundance.